Yeah, I think people should care for a couple of reasons. So kind of the first is that China's intentions and behavior are really important. And if we end up, the West, Americans, British people end up in a sustained conflict with the PRC, that's going to be, a kind of life-shaping set of events. And what I think wolf warrior diplomacy has done is that for Western publics and political elites, it's closed the gap between what was long seen as a set of very assertive policies pursued by the Chinese government and a much more ameliorative set of diplomatic talking points. So, China was pushing the limits of boundary disputes with its neighbors, but then its diplomats will kind of say, oh, no, everything's fine. China's rise is peaceful, don't worry about it. And I think that gap is closed now. And the result is that foreign audience, it's kind of put a human face on China's assertiveness. If people think of an aggressive China rising, maybe they think first and foremost now of China's wolf warrior diplomats. And I think that has damaged the PRC's reputation, and it has helped to solidify, along with a much broader package of policies pursued by China, it's helped to solidify this perception that China is a threat. And that's something that makes tension in the relationship more palpable. It's something that probably long term, and that's going to affect trade patterns. It's going to affect every country's foreign policy. It's going to affect every country's relationship with the United States. It's going to impact standard setting, power groupings in the UN, you name it. It's going to be shaped by U.S. China competition and perceptions of China's rise. So wolf warriors play into that. I add one kind of additional point, which is that I think that wolf warrior diplomacy has damaged China's ability to signal its intentions to the world. Set aside the issue of whether or not it's good for China's reputation, but it's important for every country, to, especially a rising power, to be able to suggest to others what it wants and how it intends to get what it wants. And if you think of the 2000s, when North Korea was testing nuclear weapons, foreign analysts of Chinese foreign policy would look at the statements of the foreign ministry spokespeople as those weapons were tested, and they would say, now they use this new word for anger to signal that they're really displeased with North Korea. So we can expect more cooperation from China on this issue. And that was true of a whole host of things. North Korea's weapons program, it was true of relations with Japan, it was true of statements that they gave on popular nationalist protests. And there was this arcane and strange and highly specialized as it was, there was this ability to discern China's intentions from its statements. That ability completely disappears if Chinese diplomats turn the anger dial up to 10 every time they feel they've been crossed or insulted or slighted. And that results in a reputation hit from China, but it also results in a real diminishment of China's ability to signal what it wants and the ability of the outside world to interpret that. And that's especially important in the Chinese system because it's so hard to figure out those intentions from the speeches of top leaders, which are dominated by kind of jargon that even Chinese citizens find quite hard to understand, and from state media, which suffers kind of a similar set of problems. And so if you take away the ability of diplomats to send those signals, then it makes life much more difficult for the rest of us.